what's up everybody? Welcome to another edition of Geeked Out here on the Google Plus community. How are you guys doing this Monday? Now, yes, I didn't do any last week. Just had a little bit of things going on, so I didn't have the time. My apologies. But I'm back with another episode series here on the Google Plus community page. Now, as you guys know, that this will be only on the Google Plus community page, with a small portion of it actually making its way to the YouTube channel, but just a small portion of it and not the entire broadcast itself. So first thing I want to talk about, and this goes to the Real Tech Right, so credit to him for piquing my interest in this, and shout out to him for it. But virtual reality arcade. Is this the future of arcade games? So for a lot of you guys that probably grew up in my generation, it's a bit of a nostalgic thing to bring up. Video game arcade places where you would go to, like the shopping centers or at the malls, there's always an arcade store. You go inside, they have different video games there, you get a rack full of quarters, and you just feed the quarters into the machine and play whatever. And for me, those were great times because I played, pretty awesome titles like Mortal Kombat, titles like Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Turbo. You had, well, not Turbo, but Championship Edition is what they called it. From those types of games to racing games like Daytona 500, you got there's a plethora of titles of games that were in the arcades, and even some of the more basic stuff like skee-ball and things like that. Those were fun. I mean, that was like my mom and my dad's way of shopping for Christmas presents. When they would go to the mall and they would shop for Christmas presents, they would drop me off in the arcade, believe it or not. Being 6, 7 years old, they would leave me in the arcade by myself. And not really by myself because there was like, a lot of people in there playing games, a lot of kids in there. Of course, the people who ran the store obviously were in there, but they would get like $20 in quarters, and that would like allow me to game for like an hour or two non-stop without getting in their way, so they can get as much shopping done and put those gifts that they bought into the trunk of the car without me seeing it, and then come back and get me. So arcades is one of the quintessential things that you can remember in the 80s, the 90s, and moving forward. But there's talks of virtual reality arcade places being constructed in other countries, and will it make its way to the United States? Is this something that we really want to see here? And in my opinion, I would really love for virtual reality arcade shops in malls and places all throughout the US, because considering the fact that VR is becoming ever so popular, gaming is going to be kind of hitting that realm if you think about it. I mean, if you look at today and how VR is and how it's being incorporated into basically mobile technology as a whole, you find it just about everywhere now, with the release of Google's Daydream, which recently came out, to the Alcatel Idol 4 coming with a VR headset being totally priced at $100 from Cricket Wireless. I mean, these are things that is showing you that VR is starting to make an impact in mobile technology and just in technology as a whole. So when you really think about it, how awesome would it be, since today's arcades relies on cards? I don't know if you guys ever go to an arcade and play. The last time I went, they have these cards. You pay the clerk money, he loads the card with that credit, and you go, you swipe the card on the game and you play. So now, basically, my way of doing things using quarters is completely gone. It's like out of here. You use cards. So that same payment method can apply to VR booths. I mean, just imagine an entire store lined up with booths that have VR headsets in there and all the amenities that you would need to game virtual reality. And the titles of the games that, game manufacturers could be coming out with in VR mode, I mean, there's a whole giant leap of just excitement when I think about it. Just, for me, myself, I mean, I'm not the type that likes to sit around in the store and shop for hours and hours at a time. A lot of my people close to me can tell you that. Sometimes I look like I'm irritated when I'm inside the store for very long. But just imagine I go to the mall with my family. They want to go shopping for clothes, toys, and all kinds of other stuff. And I could take my son with me into the VR arcade place and just have a blast. Playing video games. And yeah, it to me, I mean, like, if game titles moved up to what it was, there's a lot of beneficial things that can come from playing a VR game. For one, this would be a totally new way of playing a game. So, I mean, for me being one of those retro gamers that loves, old school stuff, like, stuff from Nintendo, stuff from Sega Genesis, okay, this would kind of be like really outside of my realm. But even then, you can still, in a way, kind of fashion that game into a virtual reality and actually play it in VR, which then the user would be actually immersed in the entire game. So yeah, there is a bad side, and I'll get to that later on here. But yeah, being immersed in it, basically, that to me, when you are immersed in a game, it can become lucrative if you're running an arcade place. It can become very lucrative, because person playing a first-person shooter game, say they got like Call of Duty in VR mode, right? You're playing Call of Duty, you're having a bit of fun, and you can connect with other booth players. Say like there's 4 booths next to you, and every one of them is playing Call of Duty, and you all want to get together, in a multiplayer mode, and there's just think of the possibilities with that, and how much fun that would be. But then you're so immersed into the game that, let's say like you died, so you'd have to swipe your card to respawn, right? Lucrative on business side. I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, don't be saying stuff like that. They're going to be like raking in the money. They're going to be ripping me off every second. But I mean, come on now. It's business, right? If you want to play Call of Duty, in VR without playing anything, it's kind of the same mentality as old school arcade gaming, where you played like Street Fighter 2. And if you lost, you had to put in another quarter or another 50 cents, and you have to hit first player and either choose the same character or choose a different character and continue on. Same concept applies there. If you want to play that game, without having to spend a bunch of quarters, buy the actual game title for your game console, take it home and play it at home. Same concept with the VR arcade place versus VR at home. You're playing Call of Duty, you die, you have to swipe your card to respawn so you can continue playing on. If it costs too much for you to do that, well then, buy the game title for your home VR set. There you go. So again, this will bring back, I guess you could say, like the whole field of, arcade stores in the mall getting some shine again. Because nowadays, when I look at some of the arcades, it's kind of dead. It's not like how it used to be when I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, that thing was packed. And then you had to like put your quarter right there on the screen to let people know that when this person that was playing the game dies, you are next. You don't have to do that no more. The game is like totally free. You just walk up, put your quarter in, and boom, start playing. It's not all hogged up by 100 freaking plus kids. I mean, not even Dance Dance Revolution is pretty much like locked up. And can you guys imagine DDR on virtual reality? Like, can you imagine that? There are so many games that would do so well in virtual reality that would just literally have us just like oozing to play. And yes, the bad things about it is obviously what they would charge to play. Because a quarter was what I used to pay back in my time. And I'm 34 years old. And I know today most games are like 4 credits, which I think a quarter is a credit. So that basically you're playing like $1 per play. So how would they do it in VR? Would they actually get like overly cocky and overly priced and make it like $5 for one play? I mean, that would be like, that would totally kill what could be, the huge growth that a VR arcade store could possibly be. Like, that would totally kill it, because $5 for one gameplay, I don't think so. I'll just get the game title when it's available for home VR and play it at my house. I mean, so there's a negative side. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for this segment that's going up on YouTube. If you guys have anything you guys want to continue on about virtual arcade places, please leave it in the comments section of the video here on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel if you have not. I know my house gets pretty crazy, so my apologies. But yeah, subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. And we'll carry on with everyone else on the Google Plus community. Thanks for watching on YouTube. You guys, as always, aloha. Check me out in the next one.